Hello everyone and welcome to another How Loose Sees It review. Today I'm reviewing Paulo Mori's Blitzkrieg. It is published by PSC Games and it is a game for 2 players set in World War II. You're going to have one person be the Germans, the Axis, and one person be the Allies. And you are going to be fighting in these different campaigns, in these different theater of operations, and basically allocating your forces, your troops in these different campaigns, trying to win these war victory points. The first to get past 25 will trigger the end of the game. Each player will have the same amount of turns, and whoever has the most points at the end of the game is the winner. The game is very, very simple. Components here, I'm going to be actually showing you the base game. This is the base game boards box, and it comes with tiles for the Germans and the Axis and the Allies. I have the Allies in here. And this board, along with the special research tokens that you see over here. And with a few cubes as well to track on the battle track here at each of the theater of operations for points there, as well as some score markers to keep track of points over here. So gameplay wise, you're going to take all of those components. The game also comes with these very nice bags that you can put that you're going to put all of your chips in, or the tokens, your troops, and you're going to shuffle them up really good, and you're going to draw 3 out of your bag to start your campaign here, your game. There are a few different types that I'll go over here in just a second. But component wise, we have bags for one for each player, the board, those tokens. There's also included these little dividers or shields. And I appreciate the backs here. They've included some general reminders of what the tokens and symbols do for the base game there. Okay, so everyone's going to shuffle out their tiles. They're going to draw 3, place them behind their shield, and they're ready to go. The Allies, I believe, if I remember correctly, oh no, the Germans, I believe, the Axis go first in the base game. And so they would take one of their tiles, and they can then place this in any of the theater of operations on the top campaign. Okay, so you're always going to go with the top open active campaign. This is the active campaign as long as it has open spaces in the row. So I can place it anywhere. Either I can place it in Western Europe in one of these 3 spaces, Eastern Europe in one of those 2, etc. And what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to pull this battle cube over to my side and keep it on my side as I play. Or the Axis is trying to do the exact same thing. They're going to play things here, and they're going to try to pull the cube over and score points. So whenever these rows fill up, so if this eventually, we have the this is actually Japan, and I'll get to that in a second. I'm going to talk about the expansion in this review as well. But if someone were to play this here, they would move at the number on these tokens. So this is a more powerful navy comes in. They're able to move it 1, 2, 3, and then the Germans come in and they let's see, do they have anything good out? This one here. Oh, can't do that one. I'm trying to find, okay, there we go. So the Germans come back with that. 1, 2. So at the end of this one, where we look at the cube and you see we've completed this campaign. Wherever the cube is, if it's on their side, they're going to get 2 victory points. If, as in this case, it's in the middle, it actually, both players are going to acquire 2 victory points, and you would move those here on the track, and so that they have 2 victory points. Then it would continue, so then people could start playing into this row as well, and wherever the cube is, if it's on their side, they're going to get victory points. And when you close campaigns like this, if you are really dominating in that area, you can get bonus victory points, either 1 or if you've pulled it over here, 2. Also, if you completely get it to one side, that's going to completely close this whole theater of operations, and you're going to get some other bonuses involved with that as well. Because the other thing you're doing as you're placing these onto the campaigns is you get to perform these actions. So they all do different things, and the rule book does a really good job at explaining everything, and it has a nice summary of the battle spaces on the back of the rule book, which is really nice, especially as you get started learning those symbols. Nice to have this just laying there next to the game board to remind people what those are. And then, like I said, the player shields have the actual tokens, the troops, and the symbols from there, some reminders. So very well done rules, rule set, and summary guides. So very simply, I'm not going to go maybe over every specific thing, but there's, you see shields, you can get, those are actually victory points. So if I place this here, I would actually just get 1 victory point and move it immediately. I can research, show you the research things. These research tokens are really cool. This one's from the expansion. There's just 2 in the expansion, but there are all sorts of really cool things, either very just powerful upgrade elite forces, if you will, high numbers, because everyone starts with 1s, 2s, and 3s. And as you can see in the research, we have a bunch of 3s, 4s. There's a nuclear bomb, which moves 7. But the fact that you did that is actually going to hurt everywhere else. You're going to lose some of that battle points. You're going to move back to. There's other things in here. So this is a 5, which is amazing, but this X means that wherever you place it, you don't get to perform the action underneath. There's a 4 like that as well. There's one that allows you to bomb. The bombing action allows you to basically, everyone has 3. If I bomb or my opponent bombs me, I'm going to flip these over. They're going to randomly choose one of these, and I have to put this back in my bag. And now I only have 2 to choose from on my turn. Well, there's ways to get back. You can do these industrial sites allow you to draw a chip or a token from your bag, one of the troops. This one allows you to take one of these research tokens. Again, they're going to be all face down, and it goes directly into your hand, if you will, into your playable, into your reserve, as they call it, which is very powerful, because again, these are really powerful, but oftentimes when you do the research, most of the time you're drawing them, you're getting them, and you're putting them in your bag. You may or may not draw them out the entire game. So that one's a very powerful one. This one allows you to move the battle cube marker in a different place, 3 spaces. This just adds to your number, pulling it further. And yeah, so that kind of gives you an idea of some of the different actions there. There's other restrictions as far as you'll see. There's brown, blue spaces, and then mixture. So those are representing the sea, land spaces, and then land or sea. So your air units can go anywhere. The naval units have to go on a space that have blue on it, obviously. And then your ground units can only go on the spaces with brown. There's also units in here, generals. So each of the forces here have a general for the army, and they have an admiral as well for the navy. And basically those allow you to add up the different, so this one here is the army. So he could go on brown, and then he actually is worth 1 for himself, but he can get bonuses for any air units or land units in that campaign, in that, sorry, not that campaign, but that theater of operations. So he would be able to get some good bonuses. And I'm actually not sure. It's either the theater of operations or the campaign. I can't remember right now, but so that's how the generals work. There's some other tokens in here as well with this symbol, and they're basically, it's a blitz symbol there. So what that does is it allows you to actually play one in here and then immediately play another token to that same campaign. So with, you know, this, especially the short campaigns with only 2 spaces, getting a Blitz token out and immediately being able to fill that is very, very powerful. But that's basically the game. And really, really enjoy this game. It is quick, it's simple to teach, simple to play, but with some really kind of interesting strategies, and there's a lot going on. You're playing all of these center of operations simultaneously. So, you know, if someone plays here, you have to think through, okay, do I have enough to actually, you know, take it away from them or bring it back to the center? If I don't, is it worth playing a tile there to get a research, or play a tile so that they don't get a bonus point, even though I'm not going to get points from it? Or do I kind of leave that and try to threaten somewhere else? And so there's a lot of kind of interesting decisions there. And there's, you know, of course, going to be some luck involved from drawing chips from the bag, you know, and different combinations. But other than that, you're just allocating these forces to the board and trying to get those victory points. And the base game is really, really great. It has all of these tokens. There's a couple other ones I didn't go over. There's a scientist. They're really cool. They allow you to go ahead and place anywhere in the center of the theater of operations, even if they haven't completed. It's not the active campaign. I can place it here. There's no military value to it, no number, but I can go ahead and boom, claim this to research and get 2 more cool tiles from here to add in my bag. The spy, I'll talk about the spy in a second. Also a really, really cool research token for it. But as you can see, it's a game of strategic placement, allocation of your forces, playing the board and your opponent for the different bonuses from the tiles, from the board, and really, really enjoyable. If it has a similar feel to maybe Smash Up, where, you know, you're putting a number value, a power to something. It's not a certain power level that's it's scored. It's when the campaign is filled with tokens, and then you're going to get some points. Another game that's somewhat similar as far as, you know, allocating stuff and trying to pull things is Pandemic Contagion. But this, in the World War II theme, I think does a really great job with this 2-player game. And what's really cool, they have a solo mode as well, which was designed by David Terzi. And I honestly haven't played through this yet. I'm excited to try that out. There's some other tokens that are included as well in the game for the solo game. Some of these red tiles and a die to help with the AI in that. It looks really, really good. But I do want to show you the expansion to Blitzkrieg as well, which just finished the game with my wife. Really enjoyed this one. It's the Nippon Expansion. And it comes with 24 additional units, so 22 Japanese unit tokens, and 2 new special weapons tokens, and this new game board here. And it's really funny, really kind of an interesting idea. But basically it says, what if the Axis coalition had won World War II and we have Germany invaded and occupied the United States of America? And then it says, and what if Japan then turned on its former ally and invaded German-held America with the help of Godzilla? And it had me hooked right there. I was very excited to try this one out. And it adds some really cool new things as well. So the army of the Japanese here, they're tan colored tokens here. And again, very similar to the Germans, the Axis and the Allies armies, base armies, except for one little thing. I honestly didn't know if they were being serious or not, but totally Japan has Godzilla to bring to arms here. And he is amazing. But this was a really, really close game between me and my wife here. She ended up winning actually 26-25. Very, very close, very intense. And it came down, it was really, really close. And I had pulled out my Godzilla and I was feeling pretty safe and secure about things. Just taking over Anchorage, took my last 2 points that I needed to get to 25. But because I went first, she still had one more turn, and she had an amazing turn where she had been holding on to her spy. Now, the spy token is really, really kind of an interesting one because it by itself is not really that great, but it's going to be based on where your opponents are. So I had just played Godzilla. She played her spy, and the spy allows you to basically replicate the previous token that your opponent played. So basically, thematically here, the Germans here, they knew their old friend, Japan. They knew Godzilla. They had a spy, and they actually replicated basically their own Godzilla to fight against. So the spy actually ended up being really, really powerful, being able to sway this game into her favor and won by 1 point. Very, very cool, very fun. The other thing with this expansion, really big thing, is the board, right? So you see a lot more going on in the expansion board than this one. Well, it's just a little bit different how it's shown here. So if you notice these different theater of operations, each of these have multiple campaigns within them. If you look at this board here, the expansion board, what they've done is each of these areas is one campaign. So there's not multiple rows under each of these. And so you start with only 4 active areas that you're battling in. And whoever basically closes out, whoever plays the last one, then gets to decide where to go next. So Honolulu is a little restricted here, but it can go to San Jose or it can go to Los Angeles and go to either one. And the person who closes it out gets to choose where it goes. And that adds another layer of strategy to this whole thing. Do I close it to ensure I get the points? Or do I and make sure I choose where to go? Or, if my opponent's winning this, do I close it, even though I know they're going to get the points, because I need to go to a certain specific area? If I really don't want my opponent to draw more tiles because I've bombed them a bunch and they only have 1 tile, and I want to keep that advantage, maybe I don't want to go to an area where they're going to be able to draw. Sometimes you won't have that option, but it adds kind of a cool, another layer of strategy of who gets to close, a bonus, if you will, of whoever closes that campaign gets to choose where to go next. But you're also opening up all these brand new options for your opponent. And so sometimes you may want, well, I want them to close it so that I have the first choice of the options out there. So I really like the new board. I think it's very, very cool. There's also a couple new research tiles that come in the expansion. Where'd the other one go? Anyway, there's this one here. Basically is pretty cool. It allows you to do the bonus underneath it twice, which is really cool. No military value, but this can be very powerful just by itself. And then the partisan one is the other, I can show you right here, the partisan one. Basically, it's a strength of 1 if it's in the middle or on your side. But if if the tracker is on your opponent's side, it actually becomes a strength of 3. So pretty cool. But yeah, really, really fun expansion. I think the board definitely adds a lot. And I mean, come on, Godzilla is awesome. So very, very cool expansion. The base game is great by itself as well, with this board and the 2 forces there. The base game also comes with those solo rules. That's not part of the expansion. That's part of the base game. So very, very cool. Really been enjoying our plays of Blitzkrieg. And it's something a little bit lighter in this World War II kind of theme. We also enjoy Memoir 44 and have played Undaunted Normandy as well. And this is definitely a very, very quicker than any of those, as you can see from the simplicity of it, but still a lot of strategy, a lot of fun, pull back and forth, kind of a tug of war type game here, published by PSC Games, Blitzkrieg, and that is how Lou sees it.